and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Shenandoah County edition. Kary and I find ourselves back at Flower and Water with special privileges, we'll say, because they're technically not even open right now.
No, they're not. But we needed a place, and this is just as cozy a place as it can be, and they were kind enough to let us spend some time here in between service. So their regular service ends at 3, but then when they open up pizza night, there's about a 2-hour period.
And Meredith is always accommodating.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited because you have brought with you today as a guest someone whom I did not know.
Oh.
I knew he existed, but he was like a ghost. And now I get to meet him in person. Tell me who you chose and why.
This is Jefferson Burgess, and he is the founder of BoBirdie magazine, which is a golf lifestyle digital magazine and also print magazine and also social media presence and all around super cool.
I agree. Okay. Having now sat across the table from him for maybe 15 minutes, I think you did that well.
Did I get close?
You did.
Okay.
Jefferson, thank you for taking some time to chat with Kary and I today. I'm excited to learn a little bit of history about BoBirdie, about you. Let's start with you first. Because this is golf related, were you always a golfer? Is this something you grew into? Give me a little bit of Jefferson Burgess history.
Okay, you asked for it. So I did not play golf most of my life. I was forced to play golf by a bunch of Mennonites down in Harrisonburg. I worked for Virginia Mennonite Retirement Community for about 20 years in the marketing and sales. And when I first started working there, they asked if I would learn how to play golf so I could spend more time with residents and family of residents and so forth. So that's where I got into golf. And at that time, I decided to start a golf magazine with a friend of mine who was a golfer and owned a printing press. So we made one issue. We never actually released it because I got promoted. And with my new job there, I didn't have time anymore, so we put it on the back burner.
How daunting was it, though, to do that first issue? Because that's tough. And then to just say, okay, we're going to set it over here and not do it again. I'm not sure I would have that restraint.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it happened on purpose. You know how life is. You're busy planning for things to happen, other things occur. And so the magazine was going to be a print magazine that came out every month, and that was it. Social media wasn't a real big thing yet, and websites weren't necessary. And I had a good friend that owned a printing press. So it was all about a print magazine, and it was going to give you pointers on how to be a better golfer and follow pro golfers and all these little things that we thought were needed in the Valley that probably weren't. And then when we put it off indefinitely, and I came back to it when I retired, all of a sudden we realized it was a whole different world.
Golfing is so much different. We talked about that a little bit before we started recording, how very different, not even just the game of golf is, but the people who are playing it is totally different from 10 years, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and even more so, I think technology has changed. So how they learn about their favorite golfers or their favorite places to golf, or even just how they want to utilize technology. It has gone from having the idea of a print magazine monthly to realizing we needed a digital magazine. And it was going to be seen most likely not by their computers or desktop computers, but really on their phones.
Kary references it as a lifestyle magazine of sorts. So it isn't what your first iteration was. I'm not necessarily going to pick it up to better my golf game. I probably could, but that's not your goal anymore.
I'm glad you pointed that out because we totally changed. When you have 20 years to think about something. And so, first of all, my friend on the printing press retired, closed down the printing press and moved to North Carolina. That changed things a little bit, but the dynamics in the 20 years from when we started till we restarted, what I saw was a lot of print magazines went out of business completely or switched to just digital magazine. But by the end of the 20 years, guess what was occurring? They were coming back as print magazines also with a new kind of a niche. I think COVID did this to some degree, that instead of having monthly and dates on magazines, when you see these magazines, they were more like books. They sit on your coffee table and people didn't throw them away, they collected them.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you start off as something that is print and print alone, it is very hard to transition into all the new technology. So kudos to you for recognizing that and making it come full circle.
And it's interesting we bring this up because I did not know what I was doing. I retired right after COVID. I was kind of young, so I wanted to do something that was fun and interesting. And so I gathered all of my hobbies or interests together. and that would be food and golf and exploring the valley and storytelling and photography. And I did the one thing that you should never do when you start a business is make it all about yourself. And of course, I wasn't smart enough to know you don't do it that way. But luckily, Jenna French and her team with Shenandoah County, and then of course Andy and Dale, the SBDC, Kelly at the Virginia Tourism Corporation, all these people befriended me and gave me advice and said, Jefferson, don't do this. And luckily I didn't listen to any of them. But then after they realized how stubborn I was, they started giving me good ideas. And it just started happening. The more I got out of the way and allowed people to share what they thought might work, the more it did work.
And that's really tough. That is really hard for something that you think of as your idea and your baby to be able to take that step back and say, okay, do these other people understand what my goal is and are they making it better? So the fact that you were able to embrace that also speaks to the longevity of BoBirdie.
We've been very fortunate. We're in our third year, and every year it's grown and grown. In fact, this year we did a second print issue on the off season, naming it Beyond the Green. Tongue in cheek there, because you're beyond the golf green, but you're also beyond the color green, and you're getting into your oranges, which I know you like. And so we're celebrating things that are a little farther down the line. And what you'll notice about the Shenandoah Valley is it's beautiful all year, and tourism and people explore the valley all year. And golf courses aren't golf courses anymore. Most of them see themselves as resorts, and they want to be relevant all year. So they've got restaurants and bars and pickleball and fire pits and 5K races. Some of them have skiing and mountain biking. So we tried to adapt BoBirdie to make sure that we're letting people know all the wonderful things that are available.
I really like that from the perspective of my husband is a golfer. I joked with you earlier that I tried to learn how to play golf several years ago and realized it just wasn't my thing. But this magazine is perfectly for me, and golf courses now are perfectly for me because they are some of the most beautiful settings you will find in the Shenandoah Valley. I don't have to be on the course to be able to enjoy that.
Yeah, and I heard you were thrown off the course, that you didn't quit on your own, but we could argue that.
Yeah, that's for a whole nother show, a whole nother day.
But isn't that true? That the courses are beautiful and they're more than just for golfing now. So as a lifestyle magazine, it gives you the excuse to basically tell stories. So we're not about how to be better at golf. We're not about professional golfers at all. What we're about is telling stories. And golf happens to be the common thread. In fact, in this latest issue, one of the artists that runs VECA here in town is an incredible photographer. Her name is Terry, and she takes pictures of birds. And she has a lens on her camera that's longer than my arm. And I've got long arms. She goes to the golf course with her significant other, who is a great golfer. They ride around on a cart, and she hooks a bird feeder on her cart, and she doesn't golf at all. All she does is take pictures of birds
coming to the feeder on. That is genius.
And they're awesome. So you got to read that article. But that's the funny thing about BoBirdie's. We can get away with that. So we've got a story, it's about golf, but it's not about golf. And we talk a lot about food, because I love food. And so I match up when I go golfing somewhere in the Shenandoah Valley, which could be anywhere from Harper's Ferry down to Roanoke. We typically go out to eat and match up some incredible food with some incredible golf. We don't review golf courses. We just talk about the experience, but we're not there to say the sand wasn't deep enough or the grass isn't mowed right. But there's some incredible places to eat up and down Route 11, 42, 81. And so we try to share that also.
So where can people see this current edition? Online and in other mediums, right?
Yeah, so we're definitely on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube. And we definitely have our website. We also have the print issue that's almost 200, it's probably a little more than 200 different distribution points now in the Valley. But definitely every single golf course, even the ones that don't like us, are nice enough to carry the magazine. There's only one. But it's fun because we have people come at it from different angles. So some people are really into the photography and they just follow the social media. Other ones are really into golf. In fact, we're almost out of magazines, and we've only put them out about 2 weeks ago because people are getting used to knowing that when they come out, go to the course, grab one. So yeah, we've been blessed that there's different ways to get the word out there, and we're hoping we're a voice for people needing a voice. So we do a lot of not-for-profit, like First Tee, Habitat for Humanity, the Denton's Family Foundation, Rotary, the Veterans Golfers Association. So we really want to give back and make a strong sense of community. And where I'm going with that is I wanted to talk just a little bit about something that happened yesterday.
Okay, so on that note, Let's take a break and we'll come back, because I assume you're talking about this video that you and Kary have worked on.
Yes.
Can we do that in the next segment?
Yes, let's do
Okay,
it.
we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation for Tourism Tuesday, Shenandoah County edition. Kary Hahn and I are sitting at Flower and Water recording with Jefferson Burgess. He is the founder and the creative brain behind BoBirdie magazine, website, social outlets, all of the things. We're going to learn more about him and his endeavor when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Okay. I don't think Janet knows I'm recording this. She just stepped away to get another cup of coffee, so here's my chance. Hey everyone, it's Andy from the United Way of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. And yes, Janet, if you're hearing this, surprise. We're still celebrating the Valley Today's 2500th episode and this awesome community fundraiser you came up with. Here's the deal. Between now and the end of the year, it's Janet's goal to raise $2,500 to support the great work of the nonprofits in this community. If you give just $25 or more, you're going to be entered into a chance to be a guest on the show with Janet. If you give $250 or more, we'll make you a commercial just like this one that will air on the Valley Today podcast. So go to givebutter.com/the Valley Today right now before Janet realizes that I've hijacked her airtime. She's walking back in, cup of coffee in hand, gotta go. Remember to donate between now and the end of the year and support the great work of so many nonprofits and celebrate 2,500 episodes of the Valley Today.
Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Shenandoah County's Tourism Tuesday. Kary Hahn and I are sitting at Flower and Water having a conversation today with Jefferson Burgess. He is the founder and creative brain behind BoBirdie magazine. Before we went to break, Jefferson, you were about to tell us about this really cool experience that you had yesterday. During the break, Kary informs me that this is something that you have teamed up with one of my favorite Shenandoah County people, Noah Shenandoah.
Yes.
I love that whole idea of what he's doing. Tell me a little bit about this project that the two of you have concocted.
Well, it's definitely a team project, and although we've got people sitting at the table right now that are being modest, it's a group effort. And it started with the brilliance of John and Noah.
His real name, by the
Right.
way, is John Fogel. He's done the show as
has.
John.
As John.
We need to get him on as Noah.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be fun?
I'm glad you brought that up because it is two different people.
It is.
It's the truth.
Yes, and that's the fun thing about what's going on. So John called me to see if Noah could interview me. And I told John that I really didn't feel that I had a whole lot to be interviewed about because I don't have a bricks and mortar store that I need people to come to. And our numbers with social media and stuff seem to be just naturally occurring. So I said, John, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And so I got back to John. I said, John, I think I have an idea for Noah. Can you get me Noah to meet with me over at the Woodstock Cafe? I have something I want to share with him. He might think it's stupid, but I want to see what Noah thinks. And so Noah showed up. We sat there, and it turns out Noah's personality is very similar to mine. He's crazy. All right? And
This
so
might be why I like Noah.
we didn't bring John along, only Noah. And we sat there, and for like an hour, we were just laughing because we were coming up with the funniest things. But the premise was, I said, Noah, what if we do something that kind of mimics a movie that just came out? It was a golf movie called Happy Gilmore. And
I
they
think I've heard of that, yes.
But they cameo everybody. I said, let's just make this about the community. I said, I know you know everybody. In fact, I think he's done almost 100 videos.
It's close.
Right?
Yeah.
So he really does know all the businesses. And I'm like, can we brainstorm an idea where we pretend that there's a golf tournament that's one of the biggest golf tournaments in the world, land-wise, like it's at the biggest golf course. And I said, here's my idea. We'll start at one course and then play another course, then another restaurant, and on. And we'll make it seem like a massive course because we're only playing one hole at one place. And I said, we'll just keep on cameoing at each place. And then he just ran with it. He's so clever. And then a few days went by and we're talking again. And we're kind of like, you know what? That was such a great idea. But you don't know how much work that would be. We don't know what we're doing today. You'd have to have people filming it. You'd have to have the editing and stuff. And then a few more days went by and he calls me back. He says, I got it figured out. Due to the great group I work with, which have we mentioned them? Let's mention them one more time. But Jenna and Kary and Brittany, he goes, we got a plan. We can bring in Anthony, who knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Video-wise.
Video-wise, yeah. Anthony
He's a
Stricka.
genius.
Yes.
He's a genius. And he said, we've got this covered. And I said, so I have one more thing to share with you. I can't-
Just when he thinks he's
Right?
got it covered,
Yeah, 'cause
Jefferson's
right?
like, oh, but wait,
One
there's
more.
more.
But wait, there's more.
I said, I can't talk. I can't have any lines in it. I said, I can't memorize. I have a speech impediment. I just can't do it. And he goes, all right, we'll figure it out. And then Anthony jumps in and then says, we're going to use a golf commentator voice to narrate over the whole thing. So he says, you don't have to say a single line the whole time.
Genius.
And I'm like, you guys are so smart. And then they just ran with that. I just got out of the way. They started talking to the right people, getting the mascots,
Yes.
getting the best places to eat, getting some of the fun and unusual things. Not to share too much, but we did play one round of golf in the caverns underground.
Get out.
And we were fined a couple $1,000.
I was saying, can
Yeah,
you
right.
do that?
We're working that out. I think Noah's out of jail. I'm pretty sure.
I think we bailed him out.
But let me back off because I'd rather have Kary talk a little bit more about this from her angle. But what occurred was magic, 2 days of magic.
When we were talking about scheduling dates for recording, you did say, oh, I can't do it this day or this day because I'm going to be filming.
Yes.
I assumed it was a video for the website or something tourism related. We've talked about that so many times, but that was this.
In fact, and in our office, we do often, every couple of years, we do a big photo video shoot. And it actually did happen to time-wise. I did do a big photo and video shoot last week with our digital marketing firm. And this was a separate video shoot. So I've been just so fortunate to be a part of all the really awesome creative stuff that we get to do in our office. And I get to be just deep in it. I felt like a little bit like I kind of was a little bit more of a tag along on this project, but I got to see all of the inner workings of how this storyline is coming together.
It's the perfect backstage seat.
My role, and I was joking about this during the break, but my role being, okay, it's time to order lunch.
Who wants what from where?
Who needs what from where, yeah. But definitely also contacting the people who are involved or making sure people there in time, getting waivers signed and getting all of some of the
There's a lot of
organizations.
logistics.
There's a lot of logistics that are involved, and Anthony Stricka's productions did a whole lot of that in the background. It moved so seamlessly and so smoothly. I feel like we finished every shoot a little bit early. We had a very tight schedule of shooting from about 9 in the morning until 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And in all cases, we were wrapping each shoot early.
Just to
So it
share
was like-
something, we were driving vehicles into buildings.
Yes.
And Kary was directing the traffic. I watched her as she's slowly helping this tricked out golf cart, which was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, yes.
Who
Shenandoah
volunteered?
Rentals?
Right? Kyle
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah, okay, well, this golf
Tell
cart
the
is
story,
so...
too,
No,
right?
well, this golf cart is so cool. It's this hot turquoise blue with orange.
I like it already.
It had a
Looks like
light
you
show,
go on
and
it.
it had speakers, and it had a
Refrigerator.
refrigerator, heated seats, all the bells and whistles.
My
and-
kind of golf cart.
It was
Yes.
4-wheel drive, and you can lock it in.
And electric.
Right.
Yeah. And so, one of the big final scenes is this golf cart comes in through the garage door of Box Office Brewery.
Get
The
out.
big finale.
And there's people that aren't supposed to, they can be there, but they're not in the video. They're just eating as we're driving
And
this
then-
golf cart into the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And then just so many really cool little cameos from so many of the different businesses. And I don't know how much more I want to reveal.
Yeah,
about
Well,
that
so
because
when-
I
okay,
think
so-
that's enough. So yeah, and I have some like really cute little videos on my phone that I'll show you after the show, Janet.
When can people see it? When do you expect to release it?
So, do we think that's about a month from now?
Yeah, which in showbiz talk could be 2 months.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but you should see it. And we had a discussion about this today. I think that we are going to introduce it through the Shenandoah County Economic Development social media pages, the same platforms that Noah Shenandoah.
Which makes perfect sense.
No animals were harmed in the filming.
No, certainly not, and no mascots. The one on the e-bike. I don't know if I'm
Stop
saying too
talking.
much.
Stop talking.
Oh dear.
That was a lot of fun.
It was so
Let's
much
just
fun.
go film it again.
Right? Can we just do that again next week?
All right.
Yeah, it was a blast. Yeah, and it just brought smiles to the whole community everywhere we went, too. It wasn't like, what are these crazy kids doing here? In fact, like when we were doing some shots on the golf cars at Chembley, there was a moment where we were taking up all of the spaces for the driving range, and
People had to wait.
And there were guys just sitting in their own golf carts smiling and waiting. Like nobody was like, get off.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I would recommend to everyone listening is please watch this video when it comes out. You're going to like it. It's got something for everybody.
We'll probably mention it again because if you stay on that month-ish, you'll be back on the show, likely before or right after it's released. So we'll be able to plug it some more.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems like, Jefferson, from what you have described, this is the video version of the magazine. It's like all of the things that you try to do in print and in a digital version in video form.
I never thought of it that way until just now when you said that. Yeah, if we pull this off, I think you're correct. Definitely a strong sense of community.
For sure.
And some good storytelling in there. And promoting the Valley, specifically Shenandoah County, and all the special things that occur here. And what's interesting is when I did my 5-year plan with Andy and Dale, and we sat down, that was the 3 things. They asked me what the goals were, and those were the 3 goals. And so it naturally occurs if you let it. We'll see how this all shakes out. But if nothing else, what I think Kary and I definitely witnessed in the last couple of days is this sincere sense of community that exists here in Shenandoah County.
So I can go online and see the most current, up-to-date information, articles, stories, all of that sort of thing. Where do I go online to find that?
www.BoBirdie.com. And BoBirdie is 2 words that golfers recognize. One is bogeys, and the other is birdies. We combined it together, but we only wanted a little bit of bogeys and a whole lot of birdies. BoBirdie.
I know enough about golf to know that's true.
So if you're wondering where that name came from, that's where it started, was just combining 2 words together that most golfers know. And definitely if you go to our Instagram or Facebook or go to the website or wherever you go, you're going to see stories about people, places, and food. But what I'd like to do is ask the listeners now, if this is appropriate, that if you have interesting stories or if you're a writer or a photographer and you'd like to contribute something to this golf lifestyle magazine, we'd love to have it.
I am also not a Kindle book reading person. I am very much still get my Southern Living magazines in the mail. I read an actual book. Do you have on the website where I could go find a printed version of this when it comes out?
I'd love to take your money. So if you want to, you can actually purchase one on the website. We have memberships, and we're blessed that we have a lot of good members. But every golf course from Harper's Ferry to Roanoke, Salem, there's about 50 golf courses. We actually are expanding out. We've just added the Highlands Golf Course at Fisher Mountain. We're visiting next week, Capeman National Park, and we're thinking about adding them. So we're still growing, but pretty much all the golf courses will have them. Driving ranges, pro shops, and most of the fine restaurants and hotels in the Valley now carry it. But definitely you can go to the website and see the stories and order a print magazine or the back issues as long as we still have them. So a lot of different ways to find it.
My husband is going to be very excited because now I'm going to encourage him
Right.
to go and play golf as long as he brings me home one of these issues.
Well, what's your husband's name?
His name is Tim.
All right, tell Tim to give me a call and I'll go golfing with him and I'll make sure he gets the magazine and we'll just talk about you the whole time.
See, he'll have lots and lots to say. Let me just tell you.
And if I could just insert as well, like just from the artist perspective, if I could take off my tourism hat and put my artist hat on for just a second, like this publication is so beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
It's just a work of art, page after page, and I follow him on Instagram, and it's just it's a joy to see it come through. Every image is just, it's so beautifully curated and it's so beautifully written, and it's just a really lovely piece.
So before we go, there are a couple of things happening also, not necessarily golf related, more wine related, though you can read about wine related things in BoBirdie.
It's true.
What's coming up?
It's a big month for wine here in Shenandoah County. So first, let me just plug 5 of our wineries. And don't ask me which ones, but I know a few of them. But 5 of our wineries submitted for the Virginia Governor's Cup, and 5 of our wineries received gold medals.
Wow.
So if you didn't know how good Shenandoah County wines are, just know that they're just
They are
solid,
award winning
and
in the true sense of the
really
word.
Good. Yes, absolutely. So there is something called the Shenandoah Cup Celebration. That is going to be November 14th at the Yellow Barn, which is in Quicksburg, real close to where Shenandoah Caverns is. And that is run by the Shenandoah Valley Wine Trail. And the Shenandoah Cup Celebration it's like a gala type of night. It's a gold medal winning production where all of the Shenandoah Valley Wine Trail members come.
You get to hobnob with the winemakers.
It's a little bit of, it's a high-end night, and you get hors d'oeuvres, and you get to drink wine, and you get to also meet the winemakers. It's a really special evening that's from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. The price is $75, and again, that is November 14th at the Yellow Barn. And then the following evening is a little bit more
It's
of a
more my
casual.
speed.
Yes, me too. So Shenandoah Uncorked, which is at American Celebration on Parade, that's on November 15th. Also in Quicksburg, that's right there at the same place where Shenandoah Caverns is. The price for that event is $25 for pre-sale, $30 for the day, and $5 for general admission. The time is from 11 to 4 p.m. And at that festival, there is lots of wine to taste and to purchase, and there's also food trucks and craft vendors, and so it is a little bit more of an all-day wine festival type of experience. And for both of those, you can go to our website, go to our events page. Both of those are on our events page. There is a link to purchase tickets from our website, or you can go and find the Shenandoah Cup on Facebook or the Shenandoah Valley Wine Trail on Facebook and get your tickets through some of those outlets. Our website, visit shenandoahcounty.com. Click on the events tab and you'll see everything that's going on, from live
All of the
music
things.
and all kinds of things going on in the fall here in Shenandoah County.
So before I thank you both, I have to ask, I'm going to put you both on the spot. Do you have a couple of extra minutes? Because I feel like we could keep talking a little bit more on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh, see, she's easy. She's super easy.
I don't know about you. I certainly can, but you tell me, Jefferson.
I'm getting paid per hour, or how does
Yeah,
that
that's how that works. We're going to wrap up our conversation on the River 95.3 today, but if you are a regular podcast listener, you know that a lot of times there is extra conversation on the podcast that you can find at thevalleytodaypodcast.com. You can also listen on Amazon. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, all of the places. We're going to wrap up today, and thank you, Kary Hahn, for a wonderful guest.
Oh, I'm so excited that we got to do this today.
And Jefferson, it was lovely to meet you in person.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
I will be back tomorrow. Brand new episode, as always, on the Valley Today, just a few minutes after noon.
You have more questions.
I do have more questions. So first, my question, Kary, is for you,
Okay.
more so than Jefferson. So
Putting me on the spot.
why do videos like this? We talked in the show about the video that you're putting it together. Why? Why is that something that Noah Shenandoah said yes to, probably because John Fogle told him to. But why is that even something that you guys would be interested in doing?
Well, so you've got to cover different types of media, right? Because for me, I'm a visual person. I do like to look at videos. I do like to see what somebody looks like. I like to see what the inside of a shop looks like, for example. Maybe the sound of it. And not to mention, I also do like to listen to podcasts. I like to listen to books on tape. I like to let my imagination do some of the work as well. But I just think it's just another way to communicate that can be interesting and maybe get your message across a little bit more. And I will say, when John first started working in our office, he pitched this idea of Noah Shenandoah. And now, you know me and Jenna, and at the time Brittany wasn't there, but she and I are both a little bit more like behind the scenes type of people. We're not like out in the open, right? And so when John first pitched, he's like, I have this idea for a character, and this name is Noah Shenandoah. And I might have looked at him like he had two heads. Like I might have been like, why would you want to do that? Oh my God. But he was like, I think it could be good. So we just were like, okay, yeah, let's go. And just watching the magic of what that character, who was really not so far from who John is. He's such a delight to have in the office.
It's
anyway.
a dialed up version.
Yeah, it's this ramped up version of John, but it is definitely a character, no question about it. But it's become such an incredible piece of our storytelling through economic development and through tourism. There were people make comments about, this is the best thing I've seen come out of that building ever on social media. This is so wonderful. And he is so inclusive and makes sure that everybody feels good about what he's presenting. So
Are you at all, Jefferson, prepared for what's going to happen when this video is released?
What I hope happens is I hope that it gets picked up, and as people watch it, they become more and more interested in what's going on in the Shenandoah County in general. But with all these wonderful businesses, I think is going to be something goofy in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're not talking about like blockbuster movie or anything like that, but it's definitely something where among this community, you're going to see somebody you know, you're going to see a business you've visited. It's just fun to see your home
Highlighted in some
such
way.
a fun way.
Yeah.
Is that difficult for you when you're putting together an issue? Is finding those people and learning about the stories to tell, and how do you decide what makes it and what doesn't?
So one of my best friends came up to me after the very first issue and said, Jefferson, this magazine's great. I totally get what you're going to do, but I can tell you right now, you're not going to be able to get enough stories to sustain it. And I said, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with me. That's why I just wanted you to realize that. And you know what's funny is I was so worried about that, but just the opposite happened. I just get ideas from other people all the time of stories, and they're all good. The hardest part is figuring out which ones go in which issue and which ones go on the website and which ones just get a few pictures on social media. Because there are so many good storytellers and so many interesting people and places in the valley. And now we're finding out just in the last 2 days. I mean, we visited, 20 different places.
We did.
And a lot of them I'd never been to, including the caverns where we were at. It was just such a fun experience.
Yeah, I'm now watching the e-bike scene that Kary mentioned.
Hey, you're not supposed to see that.
I know that. Yes, it's classified information. And something else that we didn't really speak to during the radio portion is you have copies here, and I want to make sure people understand and realize this is as beautiful a magazine as a magazine gets. I mean, it is Southern living quality. It's good quality paper, the photography, the writing, everything is magnificent. How daunting was that to sit down and do when you had this one that was just on the shelf and was something totally different?
Okay, so first of all, I want to disagree with everything you just said in the last 30 seconds. But I appreciate it. It was very, very nice. So it will get better and better each issue. We get better photographers like Terry, who's just awesome. And we learn a little more about what we're doing. But there's still so many mistakes in here, and so many, like when I open it up, all I see is things we should have done better and colors that didn't quite come out, or a design that is with the wrong ad. So there's always going to be opportunity to improve. But what I think, and not to sound like a scratch record, but I think what makes it better and what will make it better and better is, again, people coming together with different ideas, different stories, different photos. And if I can just back away a little bit and let it turn into what people want it to be versus trying to force it to be something that people aren't interested in. One last thing I wanted to share. So a local writer named David Jefferson wrote a story for this last issue. It's interesting. A nice guy came up to me several months ago and said, I wouldn't mind writing a story for your magazine, but he says, I don't golf. And I says, well, David, did you ever golf before? And he goes, yeah, and I just had a real hard time with it. And I go, write about it, write that story. So he goes home and he sends me this story, and it's really good. I'm like, David, we'd like to put that as the closing story, like at the end of the magazine that ties everything together. Because I says, this works whether you play golf or not. It's a life lesson. If you read this story, you're going to get something out of it. And I think that's a perfect example, I hope, of what's happening, is that it's kind of taking on a path of its own and becoming something that everyone's contributing to instead of just me.
I think it's outstanding. And I have a little bit of knowledge about what goes into. Years ago, I had a contract with the town of Front Royal, and I published a monthly tourism magazine called Out and About. And one of my concerns is there enough in Front Royal, Warren County? Are there enough businesses and enough people to talk to that I'm not repeating things over and over again? And the same exact thing happened. There were things that I thought I knew that I was wrong about. There were things that came crawling out of the woodwork. My vision, had that not kind of fizzled its way out after a couple of years, was to have something that looks just identical to this. So I'm living through you vicariously here.
Well, not to go off subject too much here, but the person that's sitting across from me happens to be an incredible potter and a painter, and it can do graphic design. But I didn't know, until you get to know somebody, you start learning the different dimensions that they possess. And so I think that's hopefully BoBirdie's bringing out, is I'm just finding out things that I probably should have already known.
All the layers.
Right.
I think it's fantastic. Thank you for spending a couple extra minutes.
Sure. It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah.